Anand sir.
Hello sir, good morning all. I'm just checking, I'm just checking the participant details. Kindly, mute all the, kindly mute all the participants so that I'll just check and let me know the count initially. So whereas we can begin with that initially. I just want you to, mute everyone. So I'm just getting a lot of messages. Good morning, one and all. Good morning, it's been a pleasure. Nice meeting you all. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning. From Abdul Hakim College. Good morning, Mr. Parosh Reddy, and good morning to all. And it's been a pleasure. Good morning all. Sir, I just want to know the count. Good morning, Mr. Savita. Good morning, Rajesh.
92 right now.
92, okay, fine. Good morning, Mr. Mani. I think PhD scholars from Alagappa University has joined. It's been a pleasure, Mr. Mani. Good morning, Ms. Padmini Priyadashni. Good morning, one and all. I hope you're doing good and safe, in your hometown. I just want to know the count. Once it, I just
93,
want to count
93. 93.
Okay, fine. So you just only enable my voice so that I can have access whenever I find time to mute and unmute. Okay, fine.
Okay.
Yeah, fine. Mr. Mujifar Kani, Assistant Professor of Chemistry. I welcome you all. Mr. Venkata Chari Rao. Good morning, one and all. I hope I'm getting a lot of responses from you guys. It's been a pleasure. I'm just getting calls and WhatsApp text messages. I know that you people are in a hurry to get things started. Welcome all. Mr. Ganesh. Welcome.
97.
Okay, fine. Let me know about once it, it's 100.
99.
Okay, fine. Okay. Morning, one and all. I just want you guys to drop a text message here to know your profile and who are all, in this particular Zoom conference as well. I just want you guys to drop a text message. Hi, Simi sir. Good morning, sir. Welcome. I think I'm seeing your face here. I think he's putting some mask. I think so. He's in his office. I think he can hear me right now. It's been a pleasure, sir. Good morning. I'm really thankful for the Annai College principal, ma'am. Good morning. Yeah. Good morning. I'm just getting a lot of assistant professors. So we have a mixture of audiences here, right? We have assistant professors, scholars.
Sorry for the
we have
disturbance. Anand sir.
Yeah.
100 reached 100 participants now. Let me start.
Okay, we are close. Okay, we are going to start, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I just want you to make the pop-up display in your screen for everybody's understanding. I want you to close this session for the rest. Like once we start with 100 and we go with 100. and for the next batch, we'll go accordingly.
Just wait. I share.
Okay, fine. Good morning from Savita Engineering College. Good morning. Happy to be a part. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome the personality development program today. Annai College of Arts and Science Training Placements and organizes a webinar series on personality development program. Welcome you all. All the participants are registered to make mute on your audio and video now. We have you registered to ask your doubts and questions through chat box only. Those who are trying to interrupt the session repeatedly, they will be eliminated from the meeting. The eliminated participants will not possible to rejoin the meeting. Kindly cooperate and make this webinar a success. Thank you. Anand sir, ma'am. Good morning.
Shall I proceed, Tirumala?
Proceed, ma'am.
Good morning, Tirumala. Okay, a warm good morning to one and all. So it's my immense pleasure to welcome you all for this gathering of webinar session, which is organized by our Annai College of Arts and Science located at Kovilacheri, Kumbakonam, jointly with the hands of Vision X training system. So which is organized by our training and placement sir, by Dr. Tirumule, who is the placement coordinator. So I've taken a much effort for organizing this program with Vision X training. And my special regards to Mr. Parthiban, the system administrator, for putting their effort for past 1 week for arranging this session. And my special regards to the coordinator of the Vision X training, Mr. Pratik Bharendra, founder of Vision X training, and Mr. Vijayanand, HR, Human Resource Management, and Mr. Srinivasan, CEO of Sri Andal Soft Media, and Mr. Anand Raj, founder of Study Channel, and he is also received award for the young entrepreneurship, and Mr. Shim, founder director, founder and director of Sri Andal Soft Media, and only because of them we can able to organize this 3-day session from 8th to 10th of this May month. So I hope that we are having about 2 sessions per day. So more than about 1,000 participants has been given their that is a voluntary participations in this webinar session. So we are arranging on the 2-day per session. So dear participants, you have been putting your effort for participating in this webinar session. So I hope that this session would enrich your career. Once again, I welcome you all for this webinar in order to utilize this session fruitful for 3 days. Thank you one and all. May now hand over the session to Dr. Tirumulan, the placement coordinator, and to the Vision X Training Center to prolong the session. Thank you one and all.
Thank you so much.
Tirumulan?
Thank you, ma'am.
And to the Vision X Training. Okay, fine. Can you able to proceed further on?
Thank you, ma'am.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anand sir, will proceed. Anand sir. Oh.
Hello.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure, from my end to introduce Mr. Pritam Bhadra. I hope you hear my voice as well. Now, since we are running out of time, I just want Mr. Pritam to. Yeah, I'm audible, Mr. Pritam. Good morning, one and all, my friends, chief guests, professors, lecturers, and PhD scholars. And it's really an honor for me, to introduce Mr. Pritam. Pritam, I just want you, to start the session straight away. Since I'm getting a lot of calls and requests from the second batch, I just want to go for a second batch set and arrange some other, the session. No, I'm just giving over to you, and you can start the session straight away. So I myself unmute and just go for the next one. Thank you and have a nice day. God bless all. Stay safe.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Anand. A very good morning to each and everyone. It's a pleasure of me having here. And first of all, so thank you so much to the principal of Annai College of Arts and College Science, Dr. S.P. Manika Vansugi, and also the placement officer, Dr. D. Tirumbulan, and to each and everyone who actually coordinated to make this event successful. I was informed by Dr. Tirumbulan that this registration for the personal development training has got more than 1,000 participants that wanted to enroll and wanted to go ahead to see this session. That's an immense pleasure for me to have here and to interact with each and every one of you. So let me tell you this one thing. This whole session is going to be on personal development. Okay, I want to make it an interactive one. So you have the Zoom group chat. So I will just request you, each and everyone, okay, to be participating in the chat group so that I can see the questions, and according to that, I can pause and then I can reply. Okay, it's going to be an hour-long session, and hopefully we'll be having some really good engagements, right? If you all can hear me, please say hi over the chat so that I can understand that I'm loud and clear. Okay. Okay, great. So amazing to see that. Okay. Okay, great. It's clear. Amazing. So let's start the session. Okay. The session is broadly categorized into two parts where I will be focusing on how do you build your communicative skills. That's the first thing. The second thing I will be focusing on, that is, I think, the most important part at this point of time the whole world is facing, that is crisis management. These two themes are going to be the base of this whole personal development session, because any personal development session has got a lot of parameters to be worked on. But however, seeing the time constraint, I have focused on these two major and the two most important parts at this point of time, right? So I'll be sharing the screen. Okay, I'll be taking you directly to my slide presentations and we'll have the discussion then. Okay. Okay, so, okay, is everybody able to see? Please confirm in the chat, is it visible? Okay, okay, I can see that everybody is saying it's visible. That's great. Okay, just a minute, let me arrange this so that I can work accordingly. Okay, just a minute. Mr. Tirumulan, is it possible for only to have my screen, my video here, rather than having everyone?
Yeah.
Or, yeah, let's try to make my video here, and so that I can have my video and the chat as well. I can see everyone. Yeah. I think it won't happen. I think
it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's fine. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce myself. Okay, just a minute. So I'm Pritam Bhadra. Okay, I'm a millennium leadership speaker. I talk about leadership in this generation, this current generation, especially for those who are in the age bracket of 18 to 30, 35. Okay, so at this point of time, I am not only speaking, and I'm also doing multiple corporate sessions, not only in colleges but on corporates, mainly based on these sessions on personal development, leaderships, and how do you communicate better to be a better leader. So I'm also the founder of Vision X Training System that was started in 2019 with an idea to help and transform their own core skills. See, there are two things when you go to a job or whatever you do in your professional life. One is when you have your core skills, that is your personality. The other, you have the other skill that you acquire from the outside, that is your technical skills. Once you bind both the things together, that's the time when you make the most of your career and most of whatever you are doing. So I thought, why not to focus on the core skills, because I think that's when I think every interview or every classification, when you're going to an upgraded session or you're going throughout the ladder of your career, you will face this, and this is something that is interviewed and reviewed every single time. So welcome everyone for this personality development program by me. Okay, so you can visit my website, that's www.pritambhadra.com, when the session ends, to know more about me in detail. Okay, so I've also been conducting these kind of sessions in my college as well. So when I was in the college days, I used to conduct sessions like this, and that's when I transformed and I thought to have this idea of Vision X training systems, which started in 2019. So not taking much time about introducing myself, I'm going to proceed ahead for the first slide, I'll say. Just a minute. Yeah. So the first topic, as I said, there are two bases of this whole personal development session. The first thing is communicate effectively. Now, how important do you think communication can be? I mean, what is the role of communicating when you go higher up the ladder in any organization? There are people who join at the mid level, there are people who join at the upper level as well, but then they need to communicate. Not only, let's say, I've seen that in the chat section that there are professors, there are research scholars, there are students. So really glad to see that more than 1,000 have people wanted to register. So I'll make my discussion accordingly. I'll make in a way so that it can be suitable for each and everyone, whether you are a top professor or you are a college student. So let's start with an example. Let's say you are a college student and you go to conduct a session, or you are in a session and you are participating. Whenever you go for an interview, when you go in front of a company and you present yourself, how important do you think this communication can be? Right. For me, what I have seen interacting with so many CEOs, because let me tell you, I've been consulting professionals across 150 countries in their career path. So that's what I did from the last 6-7 months. And with discussing with all of them, I realized communication skills in various stages of how you grow in your career is going to be important. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do or discuss about communicating effectively is taking an example of a college student. You go to a college, okay, let's say you're participating, and as I saw that this event was also coordinated by some of the head of college students. So how they communicate over to their friends and their colleagues, this becomes the key of getting things done. If you have learned about what you do after this, there are several topics like project management, okay, where you understand to manage people. It's mainly based on how do you communicate properly. If you are not able to communicate properly, your message will not be delivered. Now, the problem here is whenever I discuss, like I take this kind of session, people say, how should I increase my fluency? Do you really think that fluency is the top-notch skill which is required to communicate effectively? For me, that's no. Because fluency in English, or expressing your words out of your mind to the person in front of you, is just 50% of the work done. Because when you communicate, okay, it's a two-way transition. As a person who's communicating and as a person who's listening. So when both these things work together in synchrony, at that point of time, communication happens. And that's when your personality improves, because it's a key skill, right? So coming to the next slide, that is, how do you become a better listener? So as I said, I will be focusing on the next part here, that how you will be a better listener and why you should be a better listener. Why it is so important to be a better listener. I mean, everybody around you, okay? I mean, you all are hearing me. You can't talk because you're muted, but you can always chat. But you understand one thing, that whatever I'm saying here as one person is being communicated to hundreds and probably thousands when then this video will be shared across your YouTube channels and across your links. So when I communicate with you, you need to listen properly. Listen in the sense that you understand it. There's nothing more satisfying than having a good listener around you. A very good example, I would say, that you are really depressed and you really want to get your heart or whatever you have, the feeling inside you, get out. Okay, you come to me as a friend. Okay, let's say you say that I'll go to Mr. Pritam and I will discuss with him, because that's when I feel that it's going to be better for me. I'm going to feel better. But what was there in my heart or there in my mind, I'll speak to him. I'll feel lighter. I'll feel delighted. Right? You come to me to discuss so many things about you, and guess what? What I do? I directly go and I say, you know what, I was conducting this session and I was doing so many things here and this and that. That person will be astonished and the person will think, I came to Mr. Pritam to say my problems, to say what I had in my mind, rather than listening to what he is doing. That's when a proper communication never works. When this kind of situation, when proper communication doesn't work, there is a lack of personality. There's a defect, I would say, which can always be improved. Let me tell you this one thing. Whether it's communicating, whether it's crisis management or leadership, these are all learnable skills that you will be learning and then you need to upgrade yourself. So that's the best part about it. I was not like the way I am now. Few years ago, almost in the starting of my college's time, I was really poor in the way I communicate because I always used to want people to listen to me. But the problem is when everybody wants that, unfortunately, in this really hustle bustle world, if you are a professor, like let's say like Mr. Jimul and you are a placement coordinator, so you coordinate so many people. So if you keep buzzing around, then at this point of time, it's not going to be fruitful to listen because the information will not be conveyed properly and you won't be understand. We live in an information age. Everything is just a click away. You go to Google and you type anything, you get the answer. But do you really think that's going to transform your life? I don't think so. Why? Because communication and the information is different compared to realization. It's only when you understand and realize it, things transform. And that's when your personality will. So, what I'm saying is, in this part of time, but how you should be a better listener. Coming to the first key point of becoming a better listener is why to focus on proper listening. As I give the example, let's say you come to me and you come to me with a broken heart. You come to me with a problem. You come to me with you want to take a suggestion from me. You come to me with an idea. This is what you want to do. And if I'm not listening it properly, you won't feel satisfied that Pritam is not listening to me. What's the point of communicating? At that point of time, my personality graph reduces. That's the first key point. If you, and I would request each one of you, if you have a pen, right, and a notepad, kindly write it down. The first point that I'm going to discuss here is that why to focus on proper listening. This is the thing. When you communicate to anyone, okay, you should be a best listener. The biggest, I would say, communicators across the world, the biggest speakers and trainers across the world are not the one who only speak. You know what I'm going to do once this session is over? I'm going to listen to each and every one, to each and every comment, to all the feedbacks of each and every person that was there. I will also share the medium through which you can communicate to me directly so that I want to listen. But why I should listen? Because it's only when I listen properly, I'll understand. And when I understand, I will be upgrading myself. The next session that you will see is going to be customized according to your need and it's going to be better and better and better because I will be getting hundreds and thousands of suggestions. Why? Because I'm listening. If I'm doing everything just because I think that I'm a professional speaker, that's not going to serve the purpose. The purpose is not just to speak. The purpose is to make the communication and the message clear. Right? I hope it's clear. If it's clear, then I would also ask everyone to write in the chat section if the message is clear. Kindly do that. Okay. Okay, so coming to the next point that I have with myself, that is how it can help become a better communicator. As I said, there are two parts of listening. One, you speak. Other one, you listen. It's only when you speak and you listen simultaneously that's when the whole information gets transformed. Okay, I'll give you a very good example. So once we are into a corporate world, when we are running any kind of business or we are into a development stage, at that point of time, there are different hierarchies, right? There are people who are at the lowest level. There are people who are in the mid-level, senior level managers, CXOs, CEOs of different organizations. Now, they need to understand that when one CEO of an organization communicates something to the whole hierarchy, the whole structure of thousands of people, hello, okay, great. So I'll use the laser pointer, okay, so it's going to be better. So how you can impact it on others' mind? Because when you're going through this hustle bustle of life, people are so busy in communicating what they want to speak and nobody's want to listen. At that point of time, you feel lonely. There are times when you have heard people saying that I really don't want to talk about this. I really don't want to listen about this. The reason is not because they are not able to understand things properly. It's because they don't know how to communicate, and because of this, they're even rejected from different kinds of global interviews. That's the key point here of becoming a better listener. So remember one thing, that there are two ways of communicating that also transforms your leadership capabilities. Every single leader that is there, okay, understand that it's only one that the leader speaks. It's also the followers whom he listens, and then he transforms the way he's communicating. That way, the listener and the leader both are going to get to the next level. This is what I mean to say over when you say that becoming a better listener. So this is the point that I wanted to clear here, that if you are not doing this when you are communicating, okay, and if you want to develop your personality, it's going to be a real problem. If you are a teacher and if you are a professor in any college, as it's all, there are so many colleges that lined up the professors coming up here and in this session. I'm really glad. But at this point of time, you also understand that what your students are saying. Are you able to convey your message properly to students? And if they're understanding or not, what is the feedback of the students? Because the whole world, if I say, the whole world of economy runs on the customer satisfaction. That's why if you see the biggest organization are the better listener. I would say the best listener, in fact. Every complaint that you do to an Amazon gets fixed, or to Zomato that you do is fixed. You know why? Because they're listening. They're listening very clearly of what you have to say, how you have to say, and what are the things that they need to improve. That way, if you are a professor, you need to do this. When you are to get to an organization, let's say when you graduate from your college, you go to an organization, you work as a coder, as a management person, in any form. At that point of time, you need to understand that what people are communicating around you, you listen to that, you adapt. If you don't listen to what's happening across you, okay, because you're really new to the system, at that point of time, it's going to be really difficult for you to survive in the system, because there's so many people who have more experience than you around you are buzzing off. At that point of time, if you are not communicating and listening properly, you won't be able to grow the structure because you are a new person there. So this was the key. I would say this is the gist of this first slides of becoming a better listener. If it is clear, if you have noted, please type yes over the chat section. I would like to see that. Okay, so we are already done with the first slides, that is the becoming a better listener. I hope you will understand that. Please note it down that to be, okay, the first point that you need to get from this slide is that if you want to become better in communicating, is not just what you speak, it's what you listen, right? That's the second, and I would say the most important factor. Every single organization that is, you have seen, every single organization that you know, whether it's Google, Facebook, any organization, and even the organization that I was working previously, that are doing amazing business across the whole world and are into the top management sectors, I would say one thing, they listen to each and every employee. They listen to each and every customer. So if you are a person who wants to manage a team, who wants to manage a class, manage an organization, if you want to run your own business, and wherever you want to go, you want to be a good employee, anywhere, become a better listener. That's the first criteria. Anyone, right? Anyone who is ready to communicate with you, ready want to speak something. The problem here is we want to speak our heart out before then the person has said anything, and that's the biggest problem, isn't it? That happens with each and every one. Before I want to say something, there will be a person who wants to interrupt me and discuss. And I think that is nothing wrong. We humans have that urge, that I've urge to discuss with each and everyone, a urge to communicate, or we want our voices to be heard. That's not a problem. But the problem is when each and everyone's voice is not heard on a proper time, at that point of time, that becomes a problem, because you are not able to understand who is saying what. And because of that, you're not able to take the action steps, which I feel is the most important and the end result of communicating. So if you're not doing this, your personality won't be enhanced, because you will be only a person who only speaks but never listens, right? As the first point, keep in mind, I'm sure it's going to help you. The second slide I'm going to go is dealing with difficult people. Now, as we are in a corona situation across the globe, I understand that we are isolated, but what happened to before corona? Before the time, when we used to be surrounded with so many people around, did you find anyone who was difficult to understand? Okay, did you find anyone who was, I would say, very annoying kind of person, who used to get really angry, really disappointed fast, and that really affected the way you work? Is that ever happened? If that's the case, then how do you deal with these kind of people? Because and you would say, then why, Pritam, it is important to deal with difficult person? Why it is so important? The reason why it is so important to deal with difficult people is, if you are not dealing with them at that point of time, it's going to hamper your own growth. That's the last point. If you can see, focus on your own growth. I'll share you one my story. Okay, I think it's really going to reflect. Okay, it was a time when I was in my second year of college, and I entered into my, I would say, class. When I entered into my class, there were almost 100 students. Obviously, that's a normal case when you enter. So I'm a BTech graduate, by the way. So I was the topper when I used to be in the college. So as being a topper, what happens? If you are a person who has topped anything, okay, you always get the attention. And you always get the attention being in positive way and in negative way, both. The two ways you get attention, right? One in positive way, one in negative way. Okay. So when you get the attention in the positive way, that's really good. You feel good that Pritam Bhadra is the topper of this college, of this particular branch, of this particular year, and you feel good about it. What about the negative one? People are not going to be really happy with you all the time. They're going to be jealous of you. They're going to be disappointed of the way you're performing, and that's really going to create an impact on how you grow. Because if that's what happened, and if it hits your heart, it's going to hamper your productivity, and then your growth will be slowed down. And maybe next time you won't be able to perform the way you used to, right? So how to deal with these kind of people? That's I would say the main theme of this slide. Okay, so have some chats coming up. I like to see that what is the chat is all about. Okay, 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 okay. So let's go back to the session. So dealing with the difficult person. So how do you avoid miscommunication? If you're really into something and you really want to work on yourself and want to focus on something, then how do you avoid miscommunication from people? There are people who are going to interrupt you all the time. There are people who can disturb you and who are going to say all the wrong things about the aim that you have, and how to interact with them. One very key thing that I learned from one of my professors when I was in my college days is, Pritam, that's very normal, anyone who's at the leadership position or has done anything that is commendable, that is worth knowing, at that point of time, there will be 100 people across you who's going to throw stones at you. Okay, they may not literally throw stones at you, but verbally or inverbally, they will communicate to you that this is something that you're doing and we are not really happy about it. Then I asked myself that what should I do, sir? I really want to focus, because when I was in the college, I was focusing on a lot of things. I was topping in my examination. I was preparing from the armed forces. For 2 times, I've been to top 28 or top 29 in the Indian Army, Indian Navy. But unfortunately, I couldn't go into the flying wing because of my eyesight that you can see. That happened, unfortunately, at the end of the final year. But whatever it was, I asked this. I want to do so many things, and I'm really being productive. But how do I manage these kind of people? You know what he said? Take a glass. Okay, take a glass, fill it to the brim. Okay, fill it to the brim. When you cannot spill any water, I mean that's when, if you just shatter it slowly, the water is going to fall. Now do one thing. Take that glass, okay, and revolve around the whole college campus. I said, okay, that's a bit weird, but what's really going to happen? He said, just do one thing. So though I didn't try it in the college campus, I tried in my own small area, okay, in the hostel where I was staying. You know one thing, there are people who's already buzzing around here and there. You can't do anything about them because you don't have any control over them. But what you can do is focus on the glass and the brim of water that you have. Because if you don't focus on that, the water will spill and you will lose the thing that you have with yourself. And that's how you do it. You focus. You need to be a laser focus in what you do to avoid these kind of people. There is no other way. If there is a person who is always shouting at you, who's always misbehaving with you and is your neighbor, you can't really do anything about it. Can you? You can't really just take your home and shift that to any other part of the country. Just can't do that instantaneously, right? So what do? You focus on your own home. You focus on your own work. And that's what I did. And I think that's the reason why 5 consecutive times I topped in my college without the naysayers, and I started working on other skills as well. And that's when I was developing my communication and my personality skills, right? So I hope that you have understood about this, that how can you avoid this kind of miscommunication and difficult people. Focus on your work. That's first thing. Second thing, What's the difference between a reaction and response? Okay, just let me, response I think is not that clear. Yeah, I think now it's clear, right? Response. Difference between reaction, okay, and response. Now, what do I mean by reaction and response? Uh, somebody, let's say you're doing something that is worth commendable, okay, it's hard, okay, but then somebody comes to you and say very bad things to you or difficult things to you for you to digest. Now, there are two scenarios that you can do. If you're a hot-headed person, what you can do is you're going to react. You're going to react directly to that person, and that is not going to make your mood into into difficult, and you're not going to focus on your work. But also, it's going to fuel that person and that person's mentality. Okay, and he's going to shout on you or going to say more difficult words to you. Right? That's one way of dealing. Second way of dealing these kind of people is to respond. How to respond? Okay, I understand. See, there was a problem, there was a situation that was happening now here over the screen, wherein somebody, maybe I think mistakenly, was drawing something, and I think it was just a mistake seeing on the screen. That's what I believe in. But if that's what have happened, I responded. You need to respond the same. You don't need to react. It's fine. It happens. So many people around in this session. I know they have joined hundreds of people, registration of thousands of people. There are billions of people across this world, right? When you want to get your work out or when your words or your message out, billions of people are going to watch that. Then what will I do? Will I react just because billions of people are watching? I have more than 15 to 20 videos over my social media, over my YouTube. There are people who are reacting. There are people who are messaging, who are applauding, and it is available to billions of people. Do I need to react or need to respond? So what do we need to do? If I really want to keep my decorum, if I really want to keep my personality intact, I'll respond. I won't react. I mean, do you really appreciate a person who keeps shouting and who keep getting jealous or keep arguing? Do you really appreciate that person? You hardly do. Why? Why you don't appreciate that person? Because of that negative vibe that coming from that person. But what do you do to a person who is really calm, patient, understand the situation, and then works on his or on her own path? You appreciate that person. You want to be associated with that person. And that's when it's called response. So remember this. When you face these kind of difficult people around you, okay, after this corona or in a call, whatever the situation is, or even a presentation like this, don't react. Reaction will make it worse. If you respond, things will get clear the way it got clear now. That's the second thing. Third thing is that focus on your own growth. You remember what I said that when I said to my college professor, the principal, that I really want to focus on my work and it's going to be really hampering. He said to focus on your own growth. Why? Because if you're doing the both of things wrong, if you're miscommunicating is the first thing, or if you're reacting, you won't have that time, the energy, or that focus to work on your own growth. Why? Because you're disturbed. Have you ever seen a disturbed person focusing on his or her work? Is it possible? No, right? If you are a professor in a college and if you're really dedicated to your work and there's a person who's another student who's constantly disturbing you and you're getting disturbed, do you really think that way you can actually work and give the best presentation? Is it possible for you, sir and ma'am? I don't think so, right? That's when you have to understand that what you need to do is focus on your own growth. Eliminate the people around you and focus on your own growth. How? You focus on what are my priorities. Okay, how to understand your priorities? Are my priorities of what people are thinking or what people are saying around me, of how that negative they are, or my priority is my own work because I know if not today, tomorrow I will be benefited out of it, and the same people are really going to applaud me. Which one? You will be focusing on your own growth, right? You want people to applaud you. You want people to recognize you. You want your own work to be recognized by your own self. Once you do a thing, you want people to appreciate that. If not people, forget about people. You want your own self to feel good about it. If I'm giving a long presentation like this, I want people, to have a look on this and improve themselves. And when they give me a feedback over my social media channels, I feel good about it. But you know what makes me feel the most valuable when I'm doing this presentation is that when this presentation successfully ends, I feel good about myself because I am focusing on my own growth. And I think that's the key. Focusing on your own growth, right? I hope that you're writing all the points down, that dealing with a difficult person, focusing on your own self. Remember to respond rather react. and responds with a positive smile. Because when you respond with a negative smile or with a broken heart at that point of time, you're doing just one thing, you're fueling the other person. Please don't do that. That's not going to benefit for anyone. And let me tell you, it implies for the college student to the CEOs of the organization, because I've been consulting more than 150 countries and more than 600 professionals across the globe. And these people are from different levels. There are people who have just entered into the corporate world. There are people who are mid-level managers with more than 5 years experience. And there are people with more than 15 years experience. There are people also the CEOs of different organizations who want their organization to improve, and they take consultation from me based on the organization that I used to work in. Right. So when I did this, I realized they focus on their own work more than what's happening across them. There are thousands of ways, my friend, to get distracted, but there's only one way to focus. That is what you're doing. That's what's your aim, right? I hope that this whole slide session or the second session was actually delivered to you. If you're able to listen properly, if that's the case, if you have noted down, please type on the comment section yes, so that everybody can see and we can proceed forward. Please type. I will be able to see that as well. Okay. So once we are done with dealing a difficult person, we are going to go for the second slide, sorry, third slide. Now, the third slide is learn to say no. I'm not sure, should I say it fortunately or unfortunately, growing in the Indian system or Indian parenting or Indian education system, we always have this mentality that we need to say yes to everyone that's coming ahead. I really don't think that is the case. Do you really think? Now, let's have 1 minute of pause wherein we discuss ourselves. Everything that you have, came across in your life or in your normal day-to-day work schedule, do always say yes to things. Your friends comes and says, hey, let's go, we'll play cricket outside, or we'll go to the movie. We won't go to the college today. We'll go to the movie and we'll enjoy the time, right? When you go tired to your work, you're a professor, and then you really want to focus on your work, on your own self-development. At that point of time, you get some other work by your seniority of your college or in your corporate, and then you say, okay, so I will do that also. You say yes to every single thing that comes in your way. You need to understand this. That's the first thing, my friend. Understand this one thing, that whether you are saying yes or no. Please self-introspect now for 1 minute and understand whether you say yes to every single thing or you take time for yourself and you prioritize yourself and say no to them, because you understand this is your time and this is your valuable time when you're improving. So are you saying a yes or a no? Right? A very thought-provoking question, by the way, because Indian society is designed in a way where we say yes to every single thing, and that actually impacts a lot. It impacts a lot in a negative way to people and their life. Right? Just 1 minute so that you can think on it, and you can see about it. Okay, just think on it. Okay then. Sure. Okay, great. So saying yes to every single time. Let's proceed with the slide. Saying yes to every single time. That's what we do. I mean, that's what I used to do. I'm not sure about you all. It was never taught by my parents or not even my professors. This comes naturally. People say that whatever comes in your way, take it, right? Take everything that comes in your way. And I feel that's not true, because there are thousands of things that can come in your way. Do you really want to take each and everything? Will you ever have time for everything? And how do you prioritize? The people who are working hard, okay, and getting paid 1,000 rupees per hour, that's really good. And there are people who are really working hard and getting paid 10,000 to 1 lakh rupees per hour. Which one will you choose? Will you say everything yes to every single thing that comes in your way? Obviously not. So how do you do it? You're going to prioritize your work. For example, when you're at home at this point of time, you're in the corona situation and you have time for yourself, what you do is you prioritize yourself and then you work on your own work. At that point of time, if anything external comes in, you say no to it. Why? Because you prioritize this. And let me tell you one thing. If you're not prioritizing, let's say you prioritize, okay, you have a list. Okay, it's the first thing I'm going to do, second thing I'm going to do, third thing I'm going to do. Any external thing that comes in the first thing, okay, and you get disturbed and you accept that external thing because of our natural habit of saying yes to everything, okay, your self-esteem is going to go down. You know why? You prioritized everything for yourself. First thing, second thing, third thing. but you really didn't bother about that. You bothered about the external thing that came in your way, and you say yes to it. Your self-esteem or your subconscious mind going to say, then what you're worth actually? That something came in your way. You wanted to improve yourself. You worked on it, but you really didn't bother to execute that. Instead, with just having this yes notion, you always said yes to everything. What about the other things? You never focused on that, did you? No. And if you didn't do that, somewhere in the mind, if you feel that I am not that valued, why? Because I don't prioritize myself. The moment you don't prioritize yourself, your self-esteem is going to go low. Your personality is going to take a dip. And when that happens, you will not going to grow in yourself, because personality is a mixture of so many things around. If you're saying yes to every single thing, my friend, how your personality is going to develop? Think about it. I don't think it's going to ever develop, because you're always welcoming each and every person and each and every work that comes in your way, rather than prioritizing of what you actually want to work, right? That's the first thing. Don't say yes to every single thing. How? I mean, how do you do that? And the second point is how it will help you to perform better. If you say, if you don't say yes to everything, and it's okay if you say no to there's something that comes in a way. How? Because once you prioritize, you always need to have a list of what you want to do, how you want to do it, and how you're going to execute that. If you are not having a list of that, the external things are going to come in and are going to disturb you. And ladies and gentlemen, when that happens, you're not going to perform in an efficient way. And your efficiency decreases, you feel bad about it. If you want to do something that is going to be executed within an hour, and if it takes 2 to 3 hours for you, will you be happy? There's a question. No, right? Because you thought that you're going to execute that within 1 hour, but you're doing it in 3 hours. What's the point? You won't feel good about it. You had that one focus, but then you got distracted. So, but when to say no? Right? Coming to the third point, when do you say no to yourself? Think about it. What is your priority? Let's say there's exam, because I heard that there's online exams are going to be conducted. I'm not sure about each and every college and university. So if at this point of time, my friend, if college exams and managing those college exams, if you're a professor, a coordinator, is important for you, if that's what is your priority, and there's something else external that happens and comes to you, will you say a yes to that or a no to that? What will you do? I know there are some people who will say, I'll go and watch a movie, but that's when your personality dips down, my friend. You really need to work on what is there in the priority, because when you already go and watch a movie, after that you come for the examination and you see that you have flunked the examination. There's no point of that, and you will feel bad about yourself. Why? Just because you watched a movie a couple of times, it really affected your priorities, and when it affected your priorities, you take a dip. You take a dip and you feel that I'm not worth it, because I am not the kind of a person who structures my own thing and executes that. I'm a kind of a person who structures my own thing and then executes something else. How your personality is going to improve then? It won't. You're not a man of words and decision. You need to be a man of words and decision, because you need to make something and then execute that only. If anything external happens, again, you understand if that's going to be in a priority list or not. If there's a medical emergency, fine, that's in a priority list. You work on that. If that is something that is normal, if your friends are asking you to go for a cricket match, if your friends are asking you to let's go and we'll roam around here and there, that's not going to be in the priority list. And if at all it is in the priority list, you will say that once I'm completed with all these priorities, at the end I'll do that. That's how you select and say yes and no. Something very urgent, you maintain that in your top priority list, execute that. That's when the second thing happens. Is the external thing coming up in between, trying to enter between your priorities, you analyze whether it's important or not. If that's not, say no. A simple no. You go home, you work on yourself, you're studying really hard, and there's examination coming up, and there's a person or a friend who is saying that let's group study, or or we'll do something else, and that's not going to be helpful for you. Say a no, because this no today is going to help you clear the exam tomorrow. You should make yourself feel proud. You have no idea. I mean, when I was in the college, I was in the first year. I was in a verge, I would say, where I used to, I was almost, in the sense where I almost to fail the exam in my first year of BTech. Right. That's when I thought that this is what I am, because my priorities are not set. New to the college, first year, just because of that, I thought I'll do whatever I want. And that's when my priority was not listed and I was about to fail. I got things cleared, I got mentorship. From the second, third year, and fourth year, I maintained my priority and I excelled in whatever I did. Yes, because of this, you may have to say a no to a lot many people. Let me warn you something. Your friends, your colleagues, and your family members may feel bad about it, that you're not taking their priority and working on and including them in your list. They may feel bad about it, but I feel that's okay. Because once you are successful, my friend, they are the same for people, who are going to make you feel good. They're going to say that, okay, this is the reason why you worked hard. Because in the college days, I really I would say I was not very socializing, not because I really didn't want to socialize. It's because I was really dedicated to few of the tasks that I really wanted to do. And now they call me back, they message me back of saying how my content is helping them. Why do you think it happened anyway? It happened because I prioritized my 3 years of my 4 years of BTech. And after that, when I used to work in corporates, that's how I prioritized. A yes and a no did all this difference. And that's the reason why today I'm speaking to you, right? So this is the thing. I hope that this all slide is also clear. Please note it down. It's very important. I'm giving you 1 minute. And with that, if you want to share something, if you want to say that everything is clear, please type in yes over the chat so that we can understand and we can proceed forward, right? Thank you. 1 minute for you. Yeah, please write it down. So this one thing I just wanted to discuss here, that when I thought that of conducting this personal development training, I was not aware, or I would say I was not expecting that I will get more than 900 or 1,000 registration. That's really amazing. Thank you so much again for each and every one of you. I hope that you're making the most of this time of this conversation, right?